Hey, what's going on? Hopefully, everybody has had a wonderful weekend and are kicking off their week all on the right foot. Today starts the final part of this whole entire stress free college savings series where we have focused solely on trying to give you the knowledge, equip you with everything that you need to ensure that you, if you're a student, or if you're a parent of a student, are able to go through college debt free, not getting student loans, staying out of debt, and really just focused on the college education if that's something that is on your mind and something that you want to do. I've talked from part one about 529s, getting started on those. Part two, it's all about getting through college for free and how you can do that. A bunch of different ways to go about that. And then last week was focused solely around scholarships and being successful in your application of applying for scholarships. Today's episode, what I want you to know is all about, is college right for you? And I think that is an important thing and an important question to ask, and that is the main focus of today. I wanted to kick off this whole entire episode. If you're watching this live, I'm going to pop it up on the screen. If you're listening to this on a podcast, don't worry. Throughout this whole entire episode, I do have some images and some stats that I'm going to pop up for people that are watching this on YouTube or Facebook as a video. If you are listening to it as a podcast, do not fret. I'll walk through everything that's on the screen, anything that's pertinent to helping you visualize what's going on. I've got you. Don't you worry. But the first thing, and this, I noticed this when I was searching this, is college the best route for you? This was something that came up, and I was like, holy cow, this is something that is definitely a thing that I want to ensure I talk about, right? It's very interesting because it stood out to me, very, very blatantly obvious. But I was searching for top reasons that students go to college. And like I said, if you're watching this live, you can see it on the screen. That is my live search that I searched and I highlighted. Because when I looked for the top reasons students go to college, right, I was looking for reasons like, I went to college because of this, I wanted to do this, XYZ reason. That's not what I got. When I searched top reasons students go to college, here's some of the things that came back. Why students should go to college, reasons to go to college, why college is important, reasons to go to college again, why you should go to college, why it's important to go to. Like, these are very, very key words that pop out to me. And these are not reasons that people go to college. These are keywords almost implying that, if you don't go to college, you're wrong. And that's not the case. And throughout this whole episode, what I don't want to do is I don't want to make you feel like you're a failure in any part of your life if you don't go to college, because I don't think so. I think that that's a misconception. Now we're going to get into all that. Like I love this episode. I'm passionate about this episode. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but I really am. This is something that truly gets under my skin, because I think that everybody has a gift. Everyone has strengths, and we'll get to all that. I'm not going to jump ahead, but what I wanted to say right here is everyone has a strength, and playing your strengths is your best chance at success in your life. Don't play someone else's strengths. We all have different strengths. Moving on. The problem is, in current society, with all these things, all these buzzwords, important to go to college, it matters that you go to college, you should go to college, all these buzzwords. The problem is you don't actually have to go to college to get a job. And that makes you ask, so why do people go to college? And if you choose to go to college, or if you're not sure if you're going to go to college, how can you decide if you should go to college? In today's world, you're almost force fed your whole entire life. Kids grow up, they're creating these dream schools. They look at where their parents might have gone to school. They may talk to your teachers. Their teachers may influence them and say, hey, college is great, and all of these things. But the problem is society belittles those that don't go to college, right? And that right there is where the problem lies, is society belittles people that don't go to college because of this forceful nature that you have to go to college. It almost seems crazy when you hear things like, I'm a millionaire and I didn't go to college. It sounds nuts, right? And society be like, what? How did you become a millionaire if you didn't go to college? Totally mind blown. Totally mind blown. No. You can't be a millionaire if you didn't go to college. You have to go to college to become a millionaire. Okay, so not the case. But if you see on the screen right here, it's an Elon Musk tweet. You can see someone tweeted out, you can't succeed in life without a degree. That's why you need schooling if you want to go to Harvard. Elon Musk replied and said, that's not true. Don't confuse schooling with education. I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that work for me did. I think that's great, because I think that I think that society is wrong. I think that there are people that are successful in life that have never stepped foot on a college campus. There are people all across this country and all across this world that have never stepped foot on college campus and are successful. So that's where this episode came from. I spent the last 3 weeks talking about how you can go to school debt free. Now, this is, should you or should you not even go to college, right? I'm just here today to debunk the myth that you have to go to college. I'm going to show you different things to talk about college and the return on investment of college, because I want to debunk that myth that you have to go to college. Instead, I want to focus on, is college the best route for you and your goals in life? That's what I'm focused on. That's what I'm going to try to achieve in this episode. I'm going to give you facts that can help you as a student or you as a parent of the student help decide if college is right for you or your child. Mark Twain said it best. He said, some people get an education without college, and the rest get it after they get out. I think that's a funny but true message, right? Like some people get an education without college. They go straight to the workforce, and then others, they go to college and then they start educating themselves after they graduate. I think that's a great quote. But today I want to address reasons most choose to go to college first and foremost, and then I want to focus on how to show you how to determine return on investment of college. Everything in life has a return on investment. I think it's very important that you do a calculated return on investment of college for you and what you want to do in life. And then I want to really focus on the pros and cons of college to give a breakdown of, is college actually worth it? Is it worth you going to college? So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so I had a little mess up on the slides right there. So reasons most choose to go to college. Since everywhere I looked, every search stated this is why you should go to college, so forth and so on. I decided, since I couldn't find that I would come up with my own proposal. So when I was in high school, the teachers in classes would always say things like, you need to know this for when you get to college, right? That's that force fed, right? Implying everyone's going to go to college. Or pay attention. College is going to be much harder if you don't, implying that you should pay attention now because, college is going to be harder. And it's almost like people are sort of hypnotized through their junior and senior year to go to college. And so the number one reason that people go to college is hypnosis. No, I'm just kidding. Number one reason does lie in the fact that most choose to go to college because as young adults, teachers play a huge role in influencing young adults' decisions. Seniors and juniors in high school are influenced strongly by their teachers and high school administration. So teachers don't become teachers without college degrees. So obviously, they are invested into this college system. They are. So they will show pros to students. Some of them may show cons to students, and that's great because it allows both sides to be looked at, from the teacher to the influenced, the student's point of view. So this is not a bad thing, though, and I think that's don't get me wrong, this is not a bad thing. Some students might not think very highly of themselves, honestly, and this could be the teacher, imposing that type of will, pushing for kids to go to college. That could be the motivation that someone out there may need to succeed in their life, and I think that that's important. But the number one reason that I think that students go to college is based off of influence alone, and that's from their from their teachers and their high school administration. The second reason is obviously parents. Parents are the second reason that I think that students are going to college leaps and bounds. So this influence could come from the fact that parents are continuing to talk about where they went to college, what they thought about college themselves, and on the flip side, that could be sort of what pushes a child to want to go to the same school as their parent. So that's a big thing. But on the flip side, this could also be that the parent didn't have to go or didn't have the opportunity to go to college, and so now they want to afford their kiddo that opportunity to go to college that they missed out on. So parents are a huge influence as well, whether that be pushing them to go to their school they're an alumnus of, making the student a legacy student, or really focusing on saying, well, I didn't go to college and you have this opportunity, you should go to college. And that's the second influence, and that's the second push that goes through the child's mind. While both of these come from a great place in a parent's heart, this is a pressure on the child to go to college without giving much thought of even if they should, right? And then the third reason, this one's a little more personal to the student, but this is where that college life is portrayed on TVs, is talked about. And of course, there's these legends on campus that have made these amazing, quote unquote amazing things that they've done, and they've experienced, and they all these things. But college life is a big push, and the number three reason I think that students do decide to go to college. The bad part is I do think that a lot of this is almost fairy tale like, because ultimately what they really are going for is they don't want to miss out on the experiences that college provides. And so in my eyes, looking back, if that's the motivation or a reason, this seems more like a 4-year have fun break away from before you start your real life than really a requirement. So, and if you look at it, if college is truly about job and the career, what value does this college experience provide, right? Like all of the things that make up the college life, the parties, the late nights, the hanging out, all of these things, like what value does it have if it's all about the career and the job? So, and you might have a good answer for that. Maybe, that's a person or a young adult growing up, right? Making decisions and living with the outcome of the decision. Maybe, but is that worth the college debt that students are going into? Anyways, I won't get on my soapbox, but I do have to ask, why did you go to college? And I want you to think about that for a moment. Why did you go to college? And I know it seems like I'm knocking on college, and that's not anywhere near the truth. So what I'm trying to do is provide a mirror so that you can look into it and you can find the reasons that students go to college, and you can look for the value and maybe why you went to college when you look in that mirror. And that's what I'm really going after. And speaking of value, this moves me to my next point: the college return on investment. The college return on investment. So, what is a return on investment? Well, if you look on the screen, it's pretty straightforward, but return on investment is defined as the efficiency or probability of an investment. So in layman's terms, it's the benefit, right, divided by the cost. So how much you get out divided by how much you put in. So what's the return of what I put in, right? And obviously this can be positive or negative. If you obviously are putting in more than you're getting out, this is going to be negative because this is costing way more than it's benefiting you. But you should look at return on investment in everything. Everything that you do has a return on investment. I mean, return on investment is you deciding that even though you know that you need to be at work at you need to get up at a certain time to be at work at a certain time, and make sure that you eat breakfast and you have, you make it work safely and you don't have to speed and all that. All this, and that's the benefit of getting up at a certain time. But the investment is you have to get up early to get all those things done. So what does it cost? Well, it costs you sleep to get all of those things accomplished. And then you have to weigh those risks and say return on investment is what? So anything can be a return on investment, right? Anything. So when looking at the return on investment, I think this part is the single part of college that many don't look at. Yet to me, it's possibly the most important part that everyone should look at is the return on investment of college. So statistically, all this that I'm about to tell you is statistically true. There's plenty of research to back up this claim. If you're looking at this on the screen, what this is a breakdown of bachelor's degree programs, and the top portion is degrees with a fairly high return on investment or the ability to recoup an educational investment in 5 years or less. The ones on the bottom are either low or no economic return on investment. So as you can see, some degrees have a really high return on investment, such as registered nursing, electronics and communications engineering, a lot of engineering actually, construction management, quality control and safety technologies and technicians, like huge return on investment there. And then you can also see on the flip side, some have very small or no return on investment. Drama, dance, visual and performing arts, religious studies, anthropology, music, fine arts. Not much return or no return at all on investment. So this is crucial when you're deciding should you or should you not go to college. This isn't a knock at anyone's degree. If someone got a degree in one of the things on the bottom, I mean, okay, you probably have a success story. I'm sure you were able to find success out of it. But this is just looking at the broad picture and looking at the statistics that follow it. But the ones at the bottom don't really have that high of a return on investment. And that's a crucial part when you're thinking about should you or should you not go to college? Because if what you want to do doesn't require college, or the investment that you have to put in to achieve that degree, you're not getting anything in return, it's kind of a waste of time and money. So this is why I say this is the most important part of anything, right, is the return on investment. So if you've been listening to this series, college is not cheap. And heck, if this is your first episode, you still probably know college is not cheap. And therefore, if you get $100,000 in student loans to make $40,000 a year, you can hear those numbers and know that your ROI, or return on investment, ROI, is extremely small, like extremely small. So let me break it down. To calculate your higher education, there is no direct formula that you just fill out and you get the answer to your question. It's not there. Instead, you need to answer these questions, such as stuff like, how much would you make annually without going to college? How much will you make after graduating college? How much debt is it going to cost you to complete college? How much would your income without college change on average per year? How much would your income with college change on average per year? How much are you going to be paying in interest per year on your student loans? And all of these sort of roll in and play into your ROI of education. So I want you to look at the screen, and I want you to see this U.S. Department of Education college scoreboard. It's actually a really neat website to go and look at. And I encourage you to go look at it, especially if you're trying to break down schools and cost and all that. But what this does is it allows you to, it's the U.S. Department of Education College Scoreboard, and you can search by college or you can search by field of study. And what it does is it allows you to see, first off, the graduation rate. You can also see a salary range that you can expect within 2 years of graduating. You can see how many people are graduating roughly. You can also see the average annual cost, and that's including room, board, books, all that kind of stuff, and how much it's going to cost you. And then at the bottom of the page, you can also see the median total debt after graduation. And I think that this is a very, very important website to go and check out, because you can see how many students are going there and graduating. You can see how much are they paying annually to go to school here. You can see how much the median debt is and how much that monthly loan payment is going to be every single month for XYZ years. All of these in this site were based on 10-year loans, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it looks like to me. So that's what this is based on, and that's important to know. So go to the U.S. Department of Education and look at the college scorecard. I think that's something worth looking at. And you can see what I'm talking about. If you're listening to us on the podcast, I gave you a breakdown of it, but pretty much I looked up the University of Alabama, because obviously that's where I graduated and got my first bachelor's degree from. And I looked up business administration is probably the most common degree at the University of Alabama besides teaching. Teaching is another one. Salary after completing that degree is about $43,000. Average annual cost to go to school there was about $22,000, meaning that total cost to go to that school and get that 4-year degree would run you about $88,000 to make $43,000 a year. Median total debt after graduation is $25,000. So there are some scholarship money and grants and stuff going on there. But ultimately that's sort of a breakdown, and that's the kind of things you can see on that website. So go check it out. If you haven't, and it's definitely worth looking at. But let me tell you a fictional story, just utilizing this same breakout, and so you can see the importance here. So let's say you have these two people, right? This is fictional. You have Joe and John, and they're both thinking about college. Joe decides he's going to go to college, and it's going to take him 5 years to graduate, right? But here's the thing. He's going to graduate with his degree in 5 years with $50,000 in loans, and he's going to make $60,000 per year upon graduation. John decides, no, I'm going to get a CDL, and I'm going to make $40,000 a year and travel the world and all these cool things. So $40,000 a year versus $60,000 a year. One has no debt, one has $60,000 in debt. In this story, would you rather be Joe or John? Right? There's no right answer. But both of these are symbolic to the choice that you have to make when you're looking at ROI and whether you should go to college. We all have different strengths, and I think that's important. We're all we're all looked at to go to college, but we all are talented in our own different way. And knowing your earning potential with and without college is important. Because when you're looking at return on investment, you need to know, what can I go out and make without college, and what can I make with college, and which one of these is going to direct me down the path that I want to accomplish in my life. I think that's important. And then before I move on with Joe and John, Joe had a bad idea. He got student loans first off. Terrible idea. If he would have listened to my second episode of this series, he would have known multiple ways to have gone to school without student loans, but that's okay. Neither here nor there. So go listen to the second episode. If you haven't, learn how to go to school completely debt-free. All the answers are going to be right there. Just do it. Do it. It'll be worth it. So something else that's worth it. Here we go. Is college worth it? Well, if you've been listening this whole time, I hope all this is starting to make you ask and answer questions. It make you ask and answer questions that you have. But the main question is college the best route for you? Well, I have the answer that you all have been waiting for. The answer is yes and no. Both of them. I don't know. There's your answer. Seriously, like I don't know. There's pros and cons to both, and going to college involves doing a risk assessment and understanding what you're investing and what's the return on that investment, like I just stated. So pros, it is true. Like this is true that college education could lead you to a more specific job opportunity quicker. Like, and I mean specific, like I want to do marketing, and specifically I want to do like website marketing. Well, if you don't have any website experience and you have very little marketing experience, someone coming out of college with a degree in marketing, they will probably get that job over someone else because it's very specific. Website marketing, not just marketing, website marketing. Like it's very specific. So that is true. College education would provide you a quicker access to those type of opportunities. On average, another pro is salaries are more across the board for college graduates. But on this one, I have a math equation that I can show you on how this really isn't real. But I'll let the stats win here. You know, the stats say it, so I'm going to let it be. But the stats say that $24,000 more per year if you have a bachelor's degree. If email me, go to my contact form, comment on this video. I can explain to you, but I don't think it's apples to apples when you're looking at that statistic. But I'll let stats win. Stats wins today. 24,000 more per year with a bachelor's degree. That's what stats say. So we're going with it. College does allow for you to network with others in the same field, which is great. You sort of get to go through the thick and the mud of getting that degree together. So you kind of create some close bonds in that regard. And it does provide additional opportunities for internships and entry-level jobs. A lot of colleges do bring in job fairs and things of that nature. You can get plugged in with a good internship, and that can really help boost your network and give you some opportunities to do some unpaid or even paid internships to expand your knowledge. On the bad side, on the con side, college is time consuming, and that is missed earning potential in the workforce. So that is a thing. How much could you have made in those 5 years of going to school if you would have just not taken on that debt and gone to college? College degrees don't promise you a job. You're not guaranteed a job when you leave college, and specifically, you're definitely not guaranteed a job in your desired field that you got a degree in. Like that's not a thing. College is expensive. It's very expensive. And most of all the missed years of experience in your desired field, is that going to hold you back? Well, I don't know. There are many more pros and cons. I just wanted to address some so you can see that these are additional questions that you need to ask before your decision is made. So should you go to college? Really? Should you go to college? Well, college has a huge upside, and I mean really, like it has a huge upside. I have 2 bachelor's degrees and currently working on a master's degree, and I do see potential in college. For me, if you want to know what motivates me to go to college, I like to learn. I love I love educating myself in a multitude of things, right? I don't go out of my way to study a lot of the things in terms of a career field. I don't really dig out to that. So my master's degree is really focused on pushing me to do that. Things that I enjoy, like helping you with your finances, those are things that I can read, I study, I keep up with, I know the latest and greatest of all the news that's going on, because that's a true passion and interest of mine. And so that's where I put a lot of my time and effort. And so college just gives me another avenue to learn something else. And that's what I use it for. So I do see the potential in college education, but what I'm not saying is that it's required to succeed in life. It's far from being required to succeed. You can go through life never touching college book, college campus, and you will do great things in life for you and your family. But what I wanted to provide in this episode was the realistic side of this whole college conversation, right? To be honest, I changed my key points when I was writing my notes out, because I was preparing in one direction, and then I saw all those things about you should go to college, you have to go to college, and blah blah blah, and it really made me change my thoughts about this episode. Because when I see things like that, and I see college is forced at you 90% of the time, college is being pushed down your throat, it can begin to feel like this is something you have to do, but you don't. And I wanted to flip that script. I wanted this episode to let 90% of my talk today play devil's advocate of the things that you're going to hear in life, society, and in conversation. So you can make a logical and fact-based decision for yourself, and if you're a parent, your student, of whether they should go to college. If you look on the screen here, this was a Washington Post thing, but it pretty much says, the part, you can read it, I'll leave it up here for just a second, but pretty much says the biggest absurdity is that a 4-year college degree has become the only gateway into the American middle class. Not every young person is suited for 4 years of college. They might be bright and ambitious, but they won't get much out of it. It goes on to say that 46% of recent college graduates were in jobs that don't even require a college degree. And the main beneficiaries of the 4-year push are colleges and universities, most of which are state funded, who get never-ending supply of quote-unquote customers who enjoy taxpayer subsidies. The entirely expected result is tuition inflation. And this is a very good post to look up, and you can read the article on it, but Washington Post, and it was a great article to look at and read. But it's true. It's true. So much is talked about in society that college is required, and it's not. And I wanted to play devil's advocate today. I really wanted to focus on that piece of it. And like that article said, there are many career fields that don't require degrees. Almost every job out there is starting to show up as needing a degree or replacing that with some type of experience. And I can say this confidently. More employers are willing to hire the more experienced over the most educated. I'm going to say it again. Most employers are willing to hire the more experienced over the most educated. And I can tell you, if you should go to college or not, I can't tell you if you should go to college or not. That is a choice that you must make based off your career goals, the ROI of college, and ultimately your finances. You can see on the screen here, this is a top 10 highest paying jobs you can get without a bachelor's degree. Air traffic controllers, $122,000 median salary in 2016. Tons of jobs available in transportation, storage, and distribution managers, which are making about $89,000. And another bunch of jobs available in the first line supervisors of police and detectives at about $84,000. And lots of jobs available in detectives and criminal investigators at $78,000. All of these jobs are over $75,000 a year. Great salary, no college degree needed, and I'm sure these are median. So I don't know what the highest, or the lowest is, but depending on your area, it could change that. But what I wanted to leave you with in this episode is that, is the reality of this stress-free college savings series. And And it's that so many people are continuing to ruin their lives with this piling up of debt to go to college. And this is a nightmare for your future, and one that you're most likely to regret based off statistical studies that have been looked at and researched of students that have taken out student loans to go to college. Once school's over, they look back on what they got out of their money or their return on investment, and it's not what they thought it was going to be. And that's continuing to be a trend. So what I can do is, just like they said, say no to drugs all through your childhood. Say no to student loans. Don't do it. You don't get student loans. Don't let your children get student loans. Don't let anyone get student loans. Go watch the second episode. Another plug. But for real, don't do it. Don't do the student loans thing. It's not worth it. It's truly not worth it. So one of the most important decisions as I wrap this up that you can make is kind of cliche, but it's, what do you want to be when you grow up? And this simple question is the driving factor behind your motivation to wake up and achieve that goal every day. If college is that route that gets you closer to where you want to be, go to college. I mean, for real, go to college. Just don't go into debt doing it. Go to college. And if college isn't necessary, don't go to college. Go do your return on investment calculation. See, is it worth it? And then begin your path forward toward your career goals. Not your parents, not your high school counselors and your teachers and everyone else, but your goals. Will Smith has great quotes, but he said this: don't chase people, be yourself, do your own thing, and work hard. The right people, the ones who really belong in your life, will come to you and stay. Will Smith said that, and that's very, very true and applicable to everyone's life. You can do whatever it is you want to do. Just put your mind toward it, and don't let debt hold you back from being where you want to be in life. And that's what this series is all about. That's what this series was meant to really push home, is that don't ruin your life with this whole college thing, all this college stuff. Don't ruin your life doing it. There's ways to go to college for free. There's ways to go to college debt free. There's ways to go to college and not have to end up in tons and tons of debt. So watch this series, pass this series on, please. I really want to get this message out to all the students, all the parents, anyone that is affiliated with college, that that's wanting to go, or that has someone that's going to go, a loved one that's going to go. I really want to get this message out, because it really does hurt whenever people talk about how much they're struggling to pay student loans, and how student loans weren't worth the what they got out of the college wasn't worth what they put in with the student loans, and the stress and anxiety and depression that comes with the mental state of what all that debt does to people. So I encourage you, share this, let this be known. Share it on YouTube, share it on Facebook. If you're listening to this on a podcast, share it with your friends and family members. That really does go a long way. If after this episode and this series, ultimately, you're like, wow, my career choice does need me to go to college, and you need a financial coach to help you get your finances in order to make that happen, I can be your financial coach. Just go to thefinancialmirror.org/contact and fill out that contact form. That will alert me, and I will make contact with you, and we'll work together and build out your personal plan to make that happen. I hope through this series that you walked away with a better understanding of how you can take the stress out of college, financial stress that is. And I truly appreciate everyone tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. If you're listening to this on a podcast, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review and a written comment. Both of those truly go a long way. And until next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Peace.